Welcome to 1850 Main Street, a place where friends get together and talk about their country and hope for a brighter future. Your hosts have built this spot over the past 40 years, meeting every day with people who are in the headlines and behind the real stories. Today, Rob Walgate and Alan C. Duncan from the Public Square are joined by David Zanotti, the CEO of the American Policy Roundtable.
Over the weekend, Joe Biden announced he's no longer going to be running for re-election. So who's ready to talk conspiracy theories?
Conspiracy, right? I mean,
you got my attention.
Yeah. Yes. Over the last 8 days, is there enough room? I mean, we could just start a conspiracy LLC right now and probably keep it going for the next 5 years because the interest and the concern about everything that's going on in this presidential election, we're completely off the charts because we're in unprecedented territory.
We are in unprecedented territory. And I mean, if there's one thing that Americans have always loved, it is a good conspiracy. I mean, or at least a theory in trying to.
Give me anything.
Yes. Even when the truth may be simpler. No, it may not look that way. And it may not happen that way.
Yeah, Occam's razor is not as fun as a nice conspiracy.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about President Biden walking away from the job. First off,
wait, define walking.
Yeah.
Wow.
Disappearing. What is it? Tweeting it in? It's not even not a phone call, not a fax, not an appearance.
I don't think anybody thinks he tweeted it himself personally. I don't think
you can see, like, welcome to the garage door size opening of conspiracies.
All right, and I know his age is older than this, but how many people over the age of 65 do you know that use Twitter on a day or X on a daily basis or communicate on that platform?
I mean, they do. Some do, but it's usually
he's got two accounts. Come on.
Yeah.
He's got the POTUS account.
Well,
it's usually in a professional.
The Biden HQ account has already been changed to Harris HQ or Kamala HQ.
Okay, which clearly is a part of the conspiracy. All right, so let's all right, all kidding aside here, let's get down to some real questions. I do have an issue, and I can't get it out of my mind, and we've been talking about it, and I don't know if it's going to get us into trouble or what, but I think we've got a cover up, and it's driving me crazy. And I think it goes the whole way back to 2020.
Stay in the basement?
Yeah, run Joe out of the basement. Now, to his credit, he won that election from out of the basement. And I know recently we got on the Public Square side of what we do, we got criticized from a listener because we made the point of acknowledging the fact that Joe Biden won that election. And there are still people, dear people, good-hearted people that are absolutely convinced that he did not win that election. Okay, I guess we can get into a semantics argument. And I don't want to take that too far. But as what is required to be counted, to be entered, to be recorded, to be certified, the pieces and parts that make an election, how many ballots there actually were. And we can contest every single thing. But the reality of our electoral process is the person with the fastest getaway car wins. In other words, if you have a methodology that you can exploit the rules and it can't be fully uncovered or can't be uncovered until the time required for the inauguration into the office, you basically get away with it.
Which we're not advocating.
Nor are we saying is what did or didn't happen. But what I'm saying is people can always look back. I mean, I harass people who are fans of John F. Kennedy saying, yeah, we understand all that, but he still stole the election in Cook County. And it's been documented by journalists who really did sincere, sober-minded research that, in fact, it was an election that was bought and paid for by Kennedy in Cook County in Illinois. Okay, but the fact is it's not prosecutable because the laws aren't applicable to the way that they pulled it off. In other words, election laws are not airtight. So you can call something stolen, but that's not what the law defines as stolen. Now, we certainly, and we've been doing a lot of election law changing to make it better.
Yeah,
right? And that's significant.
COVID being a major reason for that.
Sure, and plenty of reasons. And I'm for election integrity through and through. I check all the right boxes. But what I'm saying is it's okay to say one thing, but the reality is, for the purposes of law, this is what became official. And once it's official because elections and terms of office happen in real time, and people have to take those seats. You can't freeze the office of the presidency for a 4-year legal appeal and have no one there. It doesn't work that way. So this work has to be anticipated in advance. It's got to be done. It's really hard work. And people who are working hard to find the gaps and the seams have the capacity to do that as well. And because of the era that we're in, there's billions and billions of dollars that get spent to find out where the wiggle room is. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with. So where's the cover-up in regards to Joe Biden walking away? Well, I think they were covering for him in 2020. It wasn't just COVID. They didn't want him out there. And so once they got him in the spot they wanted him, the machine of the Democrat machine, including mainstream media, took over. And they were able to get a lot more votes on the whole than Donald Trump was able to secure. Now, whether those were in the seams, whether some of them were illegal, we never found out. But the fact is, they got him there and they got him counted. That's a big part of the process. And Donald Trump didn't get as many. But I think all of that is still not fully uncovered.
Well, as part of that cover up, then, do you think in that strategy of keeping Joe Biden in the basement to ensure that he wins in 2020, do you think they realized they couldn't keep him in the basement in 2024 and they let him do a debate before the convention? Because that's unprecedented.
They covered up his infirmities. He was clearly in a position of declining from the time of Inauguration Day, year after year, month after month, week after week. And they continued to cover and cover and cover. Kamala Harris covered for him. All of the Democrat establishment covered for him. Pelosi and Schumer covered for him. All the mainstream press covered for him. They all covered. And then we hit re-election time. And it started to get weird, and then it got weirder, and then the debate. Now, didn't Biden call for the debate? It wasn't the date and time and place set by Joe Biden for that debate?
Joe Biden or his team?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I'm saying, did his team set him up? I mean, did they encourage him
Palace
to do it?
coup.
Yeah, did they encourage him to do it?
And
knowing,
Brute.
I mean, I feel like it's the movie Field of Dreams. That's what I've compared it to, is where the brother.
I'm sorry, I just had the assassination of Caesar. You went to Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
Kevin Costner playing the role of Caesar.
Yeah, both high works of art.
Yes. Yeah.
Both make you cry.
That's true. That is true.
Well, I'm just saying. Who doesn't want to play catch with their dad?
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by at 1850 Main Street. We're glad you're here. Do you want to learn more about what is really going on behind the scenes in public policy? Tune in to The Public Square on over 200 radio stations coast to coast. Or download the free Public Square mobile app from your app store. Just look for The Lamppost. Find out what America is really talking about at thepublicsquare.com.
So, Field of Dreams, the brother-in-law, he doesn't see the players on the field. He thinks it's a cornfield that they're wasting on. And then all of a sudden, the little girl chokes. And all of a sudden, Doc Graham, it's Doc Graham, right?
Yes.
Comes across the foul line.
Not Doc Brown.
I was thinking my other
right?
Doc. And I see the players now. Where'd these players come from? I feel like that's what it was with Joe Biden. Like, everyone ignored his cognitive decline, and then he got on national TV for 60 minutes, talked about defeating Medicare, and everybody's like, "Whoa, wait a minute here, what just happened?"
It got weird in a hurry, didn't it?
It did. Like, they just saw it. I didn't know what to think.
So he was uncovered. All right. Then quickly they tried to do everything they could to cover it back up. All right. They had interview after interview.
Big boy press conference.
Big boy press conferences. They had NATO. They had pieces and parts. And
he called his vice president Trump, and he introduced the president of Ukraine as Putin, all within the same week.
Yeah, we're not going well here. It's not working.
I've seen this part of the movie. It's when they hit the iceberg.
So, but again, the intentionality is to cover it up, to keep it under, to keep moving forward. Nothing to see here. Don't let your lion eyes get to you. And cover up. cover-up. Now, Joe Biden withdraws from the race. Okay? There are all kinds of problems with that. There are all kinds of legal questions that come up and challenges. And he withdraws from the race, and now Kamala Harris is the vice president of the United States. I want to know when she knew he was infirmed. I want to know where she was, how long she's known. I want to know all of that stuff. I want to know from all of these people. There's got to be an untold amount of communications where they knew what was going on. Now, that's the political side of it. And I think every Democrat in America has the right to know that. But here's the bigger cover-up. Why is he still president of the United States? Is that about to change? Why is he still president of the United States?
I think the Republicans want him to be the president of the United States. I think they need him to be. They don't want to give Kamala that runway if she's going to be the eventual nominee of being the president of the United States.
Well, I do think that it would put the American people in the predicament of, if they were going to elect someone other than Kamala Harris after she had been president for several months, it would put them in the position of having to unelect the first female president in history. And, that could be tough for some people. They might not want to undo such a historic moment. I don't know. It'd be interesting. The one thing I will say, though, is Kamala Harris has not been the most likable politician that we've seen in our lifetimes. And that's an understatement. She's been uniquely unlikable. And I think that's been pretty much across the board. So it's like, which one of those things weighs the other one out? It's a tough call.
I'm just thinking about that Lester Holt interview that she did when he asked, he made the statement that she hadn't been to the border. And she's like, I haven't been to Europe either. Like, what's your point? I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, she didn't just say that out loud. I mean, the clips are, resurfacing like crazy of Tulsi Gabbard just, eviscerating her during the debates during the 2020 campaign. It hasn't been a good look.
Yeah, I don't know that she would fare that much better in debates than even Biden has been.
So let's go back to the term to cover up. At what point do people begin to feel betrayed? Betrayed by the media?
Yeah, now. Right.
It seems like right now, doesn't it?
Last year. Yeah.
And of course, it's so easy to rain wrath upon the media, and we would rather compete than simply criticize and pray for everybody that's in media, because America is predicated upon the idea that we need a free press. That's why they're in the First Amendment, because a free press is important, and an informed electorate is very important for the kind of self-government that we've set up in our Declaration and in our Constitution. So we've got a serious burden and responsibility here. Is the media covering up? How can you say anything other than, well, of course they've been covering up?
For the past month, they've been writing editorials and headlines that talk about deepfake videos, and they talk about the cognitive decline of Biden isn't really happening because those are edited. Cheap fakes is what they would call them. They did fact checks and said liar, liar, and pants on fire, and all the other fun little names that they have for people that make those accusations and show you proof of him falling down. I mean, it's bordering on elder abuse.
So here's where it'd be easy to misunderstand this. So many times when people talk about cover-ups and everything else, we want to do this moral equivalency check and say, there's a difference between Republicans and Democrats. There's a difference between conservatives and liberals, blah, 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 blah. We got to get into this in a couple of more minutes, but it's amazing how many times the shoe gets put on the other foot. And so we've got a situation where the media has been covering up for Joe Biden. My question is, will American voters reach the point of saying, this whole thing, we've been gamed from the beginning. And if we can figure out why, it's going to apply to both parties. This isn't about one candidate or the other. If we can see clearly how often political parties use pragmatism, which is the ends justify the means, we'll do whatever we have to do to maintain power, because that's what we do as a political party. The pragmatism in pursuit of power is more important than anything else. It doesn't matter if we literally have to play the movie Dave, right? And we've got a president on life support in the basement pretending that he's not there, or Weekend at Bernie's. And it doesn't matter whether it's a Republican, a Democrat, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, doesn't matter who it is. The political parties and the operatives around the power in Washington, D.C. have no shame at covering up reality to hold on to power. I mean, that's not a swamp, that's an ocean. And the question is, when are voters finally going to say, we've had enough of being lied to? And it doesn't matter, again, what the candidate is, what the party is. We're tired of being intentionally deceived and manipulated so that you get our votes, so you stay in control over our lives. So I'm not going to stop talking about cover-up.
The conversations are just getting started. To get connected, check out 1850mainstreet.com. We don't data mine anyone or sell your information. Subscribe today so you don't miss a single conversation. We'll see you next time here at 1850 Main Street.